have got so much to do this week. It's not even funny. Have been blessed. I really appreciate Alaska Prepper shouting out my product that you can see behind me here, pieces and parts of it. So I'm not going to really have any time to do any videos this week because on Wednesday I'm going to my daughter's graduation. She's graduating from college. I'm so proud of her, and so we're going to be out and about doing family things. And so anyhow, I need to do this while I'm talking, but I wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit about current events because there's so much going on. But anyhow, let me go ahead and get started here, and I'll try and keep up with chats if you all are so inclined to chat with me while I am doing this. But what do you all think of this disinformation czar? My goodness, is she real? She's like a cartoon character. I cannot believe that is the best they could do. Well, first of all, I mean, the thought of a disinformation czar, I guess that is, the type of person who would want to do such a thing. But she actually did songs that she would put on TikTok or Facebook or something, parodying Julie Andrews from Mary Poppins. I don't know if you all have seen that, but if you haven't, you really need to. It's very cringeworthy. Very, very cringeworthy. Oh my goodness, this stuff smells. So I've got back door open, cross ventilation over there, and this is the process. So lots of stuff to get through. I've got it was just a huge number of orders. I'm so thankful because with a daughter graduating from college, we want to get her a really nice gift, and this will help her. Plus, with world events being what they are, we need to try and do as much prepping as we can too. So we're looking into increasing our solar panels. We have solar panels on our property as it is, but we are connected to the grid. So whenever the grid goes down, our solar panels are useless. So we're trying to figure out how much we need, how many additional ones we need, and also we need battery backup in order to be off the grid, because solar panels don't work if they're not connected to some way of shunting additional energy. So it's either got to go into the battery and then you're using it from the battery, or it goes onto the grid. So if the grid is off, then you get nothing. But this is disinformation czar. So she wants to talk about misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. So disinformation is where you supposedly are intentionally putting out false info. Misinformation is, accidentally, putting out some, false info. And then malinformation could be rooted in truth, but yet it's like still bad. So that, of course, also needs to be taken care of and suppressed. I was watching Neil Johnson from Lumberjack Logic, and if you didn't see his latest video, then you'll need to take a look at that. He had a person who claimed to be from Google, and he put an anonymous post on one of those message boards and said that he was part of a program that created bots to act like humans and to steer the conversation in a particular way. Talk about certain things, make things seem like they are more popular than they really are. Basically, the whole misinformation, disinformation thing, that is what this particular gentleman was working on as part of Google, but they were hired by Twitter. And that is my power turning off. No, I have a motion sensor, and I thought I had set it so that it would stay on the entire time I am here, but apparently that did not work out that way. Technology is wonderful, isn't it? I'm going to turn that light back on because I need to see. So anyhow, the very thing that that Twitter and the powers that be were accusing, um, the January 6th stuff going on, saying that was bots. No, the bots were going the other direction, trying to make it seem, I don't even know how to put it, but basically they're doing the same thing they always do. They accuse the right of what they themselves are doing. You know, Hillary Clinton was the one who was colluding and conspiring with Russia. The whole dossier thing was proven to be a complete pack of lies, and that's what they're doing with these bots. And so that's why you're seeing all this crazy changes in the numbers on people following the left versus people following those on the right. People on the left seem to be losing a lot of followers, while people on the right are gaining a lot of followers. Speculation is that the fake people, the fake bots, are starting to be purged from the system in preparation for Elon Musk coming in, and then people that had been banned are being unbanned, and all of a sudden, so now you got these people on the right, personalities on the right, are suddenly finding themselves with a lot more followers because all this time those followers have been banned. So you didn't see their numbers showing up. So, so yeah, about the whole disinformation. Yeah, so malinformation. That's just basically taking people's right to free speech away. I mean, that's the whole First Amendment thing, right? And this lady's department is going to be headed under Department of Homeland Security. So it's not like this is, they're even trying to pretend that this is just, an FCC regulation sort of thing, which is where a lot of other free speech controlling ideas had been placed before. It had been under the auspices of the FCC, when they wanted to get equal airtime, for instance, when Rush Limbaugh was on, and they thought that, he had way too much influence in the media, so they wanted to have some sort of way of balancing it and basically forcing people to hear more left voices. So they wanted to kind of regulate that, but that was through FCC. They've given up on pretending it's FCC. They want to use the full force, full power of the government and put it under Department of Homeland Security. They are arresting people in Ukraine for sharing pro-Russian memes. Tim Pool was on today talking about how he didn't think that was right, that they shouldn't, for just sharing memes, they should be, questioned, whether or not they're collaborating with the Russians, but they shouldn't be arrested just for sharing that. But then he's like, well, really, what would happen if, say, Russia was actually attacking us, or the Chinese were actually on our property attacking us, and people were sharing pro-Chinese or pro-Russian memes? Would we be copacetic with just saying, oh, let's just question if they're colluding? I don't know. I think that would be maybe a situation where free speech might have to take a backseat. Let me know what your thoughts are on that, because that is certainly a slippery slope. But on the other hand, if we're actually being attacked by the Russians or the Chinese, which, these are conversations we need to have, because it really is something that is no longer just fiction. It's something that could come to a doorstep near you. Have you seen Red Dawn lately? Yeah, I saw Red Dawn when Russia first invaded. I saw the original one. I have not seen the newer one. Which do you think is better? The original or the remake? I will have to check that out. But the other thing about disinformation, and this is coming on the heels of course, Elon Musk buying Twitter, so that makes them that much more concerned. Hi, Kim. Kim Cluckers, do you have chickens? I've been contemplating whether or not I want to get chickens. But yeah, I'm working on a whole bunch of them right now, so I don't have time to do videos separately. So I hope everybody can hear me all right. Comment on there if my audio is coming through okay. But anyhow, so of course, you know, this disinformation, malinformation, um, censorship guru, czar, um, is coming on the heels of Elon Musk, and it's also coming on the heels of, there was a article that came out, supposedly a study, 27 chickens, 1 duck, and a guinea, and some guinea pigs. Keep them safe from that avian flu. It is real. One of the things I heard about that was from somebody who has experienced it, going through their flocks, is if you keep them under cover, they are in much better shape to not catch it from the migratory birds going overhead. And make sure that you're doing, practicing sanitation, that you don't use the same boots that you're walking around with when you actually go into the coop. Make sure that you're changing out your boots, but I'm sure you know that. You know, anyhow, for people who don't, that are just starting out, I haven't even done anything with chickens yet because I travel around a lot, and I don't know, it just seems like a lot to ask a neighbor to take care of chickens in addition to 2 dogs, but I would really like to. Let me know your experience in the comments as to whether or not you're able to ever go on vacations again when you have all those animals that you have to take care of as well. But anyhow, so disinformations are on the heels of Elon Musk, also on the heels of this quote-unquote study that came out, where they paid people who normally watch Fox News to watch CNN and see how that affected their political views. And they found that if you pay somebody who normally watches Fox to watch CNN for 7 hours a week for 4 weeks straight, that they start believing what they're watching on CNN. And a lot of the articles that talked about it, none of them questioned that this was a legitimate study. You know, they didn't have a control group in terms of what if people who normally watch CNN watch Fox. It only went the other direction. And so they're just finding out that if people watch a certain thing, no matter what their original beliefs may be, you can move the needle. And that was also shown by Jesse Waters talked about a survey that was done. It was probably at least a month or so ago, because I had heard about this before, but Neil Johnson just talked about it on his live stream earlier today, where they did a poll of people asking them, you know, what percentage of blacks are the population, what percentage are Hispanic, what percentage are make over 500,000, what percentage of Americans are gay, and what percentage of Americans are transgender. And in every single case, people overestimated the number of blacks. They thought 50% of the population were black. The correct number is about 12%. For the number of Hispanics, they thought it was 39%. Correct number is, I think he said 17%. The number who make over 500,000 a year, people surveyed, I don't remember that percentage, but it was way more than in reality. In reality, it's only about 1%. Number of people who are vegan, people who were asked that thought it was 30%. That 30% of the population don't eat meat. In reality, I think that was 3%, but that one I don't remember quite exactly, but it was definitely under under 5. Transgender, that was another huge one. And in reality, it's maybe 1%. And for homosexual, that they thought was a huge amount. And in reality, I think it's maybe 3% on that. I don't know where they get all the, actuals from, if that's from the census or not. So, of course, you got to take everything with a grain of salt. When I took a statistics class in college for my psychology degree, the first thing that the teacher says, there's lies, there's damn lies, and then there's statistics. So it's, easy enough to ask questions a certain way that you get a certain answer. But reality is I'm pretty confident that people have a perception of what America is like based on what they see on the media. And because of that, they think, oh, well, we need to fight this fight because it affects so many people, not realizing that, well, it really only affects 1% or only affects 2%. And that's not to say that 1% isn't valuable and need to have human rights protected. But at the same time, for something that only affects 1% of the population, or 3 or 5 or even 10, that you've got to protect the rights of the larger population as well. For instance, they thought the number of left-handies, I think, was like over 30%. In reality, it's only about 10%. So if you think the population of left-handed people, my husband's left-handed, if you think the population of left-handed people is 30%, and you then stock your gloves and you stock your golf clubs and anything else that is based on being right-handed or left-handed, and you stock 30%, and in reality it's only 10%, well, you're going to be wasting a lot of resources in trying to cater to a population that doesn't exist. So I think that's a good analogy as to the reason why knowing what the percentage of a population is, has certain needs, that's important to know, so that you're not wasting those resources, and you're also protecting the majority. So for instance, in the right-handed situation, right versus left hand, if you think that only 70% are right-handed, you're going to be running out of stock all the time of things that are for the right-handed population. So you're not helping the left-handed and you are hurting the right-handed. So kind of extrapolate that out to any other issue that you want, that people are, because of the media influence and these bots. Remember, going back to Google supposedly making these programs that want to steer the situation, that then makes people think that more people are transgender, more people are homosexual, more people think that we're a racist country, for example. It's important to know what the facts are on that. Somebody asked me what I was doing. Just a reminder for anybody who's joining in late here, I am multitasking because I was fortunate enough to have one of my products reviewed by Alaska Prepper last week. And these are jar chambers that you would put a mason jar into it, and then I have a cap too. So here's the cap. I have 3 holes in it because this one's going to have a handle. So you put that on there, and then this third hole here, you put your food saver or vacuum pump or whatever, and you can suck the air out. And if that mason jar or any other reusable jar that's got a gasket in it, so you can reuse your jelly jars, you can reuse your pasta jars, anything like that, just put it on there loosely, and it will suck the air out, and it will help preserve the food that's inside that jar longer. So if you've got dried foods, those can last indefinitely. You can put cookies in there, and cookies go stale when they are exposed to air, but you suck that air out and it will last a lot longer. Anything though that needs to be refrigerated, that's not a way to make it shelf stable. You'd have to do pressure canning, water bath canning, whatever the case may be on that, on a particular food that you are using. But, you know, when you put it in the refrigerator, same concept that, you know, things last in the refrigerator a certain amount of time, but if you protect it by removing the oxygen, the air out of that canister, out of that mason jar, then even in the refrigerator it will last longer. But again, just vacuum sealing is not going to replace um, water bath canning or pressure canning, as the case may be on that. I think there were some other questions that popped up that I didn't see while I'm paying attention. Anybody want to send me a comment? Just ignore everything the administration is doing. They will pay. Yeah, I hope so. As a homesteader doing it on my own, that's why I have you making my sealer. All right. Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, I know that I'm a crafty person and I have a whole bunch of different tools. So what's maybe easy for me to make because I have the correct tools isn't so easy for somebody else. And actually, if you're just making one for yourself, you're going to spend more money in just the materials than even with shipping what I charge online. I sell these through Etsy, and Etsy, they want to make sure that the seller provides good customer service. So on this particular shop, I normally only sell maybe 10 items or so a week. So when I got to the number of orders that I got this past week, Etsy, in their infinite wisdom, decided to remove my shop from search. So if you've got the link from having watched that video, you can still order. But if you just go on Etsy and you search for a vacuum jar chamber, my item will not come up anymore because they want to make sure that I get caught up, which I can understand that. But I am still getting orders because people are still watching that video and seeing it. So if you haven't seen that video, do a search for Alaska Prepper's video, and he did a really nice, thorough review on my product. And there are some tips and tricks in there as well. And he has a link to my video where, it is, you can get that lid on for the jar that you put in there. It can be too tight. It could also be too loose. So you have to be just right in order for that seal to work. So any other questions on there? Let me see. I just learned how to look at comments that I may have missed. Oh, very cool. And I just got another order. I just saw that. Oh, I hear somebody opening up a door. It might be my husband coming to check on me. He was wonderful. He was helping me this weekend with getting all of these things cut. So I am very, very thankful for that. Help me get caught up on this. Oh, I have had people ask me about a version of this that will work on a half gallon. And this is the size of a half gallon. And as you can see, the half gallon does not fit in my standard jar chamber because it's probably about 5.5 inches in diameter. And I have been trying to find this stuff, but in white. I don't know if you can see behind me there. This pipe, the tall pipe up there, that is 6-inch PVC white that I really need to find. The place where I got that from is no longer carrying it. And that's what I need to be able to do the half gallon jar chambers on that. So I want to test that out. But if anybody thinks that you may want a half gallon one, let me know, because I have a bead on where I might be able to get some of that 6-inch. Their website said that they had it. So I'm going to have to call them. I haven't had time to call them yet. So I'm going to call them, and but anyhow, it's like an hour and a half away. So if I'm going to go drive an hour and a half away to go pick up pipe, I want to have an idea of how much to get, because that's not a trip that I want to make often. So if you think you would be interested in a 6-inch jar chamber, let me know. I have to test it out in terms of whether a standard food saver is strong enough to pump all the air out of that. There are other methods for removing air. You can get a vacuum pump. A dedicated vacuum pump would have a stronger motor than a food saver. And I did just get a dedicated vacuum pump because I test these out, and I figure I'm going to kill my food saver if I don't get something dedicated to testing these, just because I cycle it so much, way more than what you would use at home. But anyhow, a dedicated vacuum pump, though, the real big one I just got at a yard sale, I got it for $175. To buy it brand new is around $350, $400. So more expensive. I haven't checked to see what cheaper ones may be. I think you can get vacuum pumps also like from Harbor Freight, and I'm sure they'd be a heck of a lot cheaper. But sometimes, you get what you pay for. So if anybody has any experience with those vacuum pumps, let me know. Also, I did put in my video that you can evacuate these, my standard size jar chambers, with a brake bleeder, which you do it by hand if you wanted to do that. If you wanted to do that if you lost electricity, you'd have an option for still sealing your cans. Whew. These fumes are getting to me a little bit. Even with the cross ventilation, this stuff is potent. So anyhow, I don't know until I test it how feasible it would be to evacuate a huge 6-inch chamber with a hand pump. So I don't know if that'll be possible or not. Brake bleeder is the way to go. Well, it gives you a workout though. So it's nice to have that as an option in case power goes out, but having power tools is also very helpful. For me, my option how to deal with a grid down situation is to try and build my own grid. So if you are just on the chat on the live stream right now, I was talking about earlier about how we are hoping to be able to have a battery backup system. We have solar panels on the house, but if the grid goes down, the solar panels don't work because they don't have the battery backup. So we are looking into that right now. And we also do have a generator with that is dual fuel. It can work on gasoline or propane. So again, that gives us a bit more flexibility. What kind of things are you all doing to help prepare? Anybody use a windmill? We have so much wind where I'm at in the high desert. It's a very rare day that there is absolutely no wind. But I haven't looked into like the cost of like a home size windmill, but then that would work at night too. And if it was hooked up to batteries, would that be sufficient? I don't know. Let me know if anybody out there has a windmill. Whew. Let me see if I have any more questions here. Brake bleeder. Where is the pipe produced? The pipe is produced in the United States. So let me see if I can find one. They're Charlotte, made in the USA. And that is probably backwards, but I hope you can figure that out. I also have Alaska Prepper suggested having some sort of mat at the bottom to kind of cushion when you put the jar in. So this stuff is shelving liner, and that is made in Canada, I want to say. And then this stuff, this is the gasket for the cap. So when you put the cap on the top, the gasket stuff, I think that's made in Taiwan. So still independent from China. Not sure how much longer. Hold on just a second. Had a windmill, didn't run much of the time, but that could be the installation. We thought about getting solar panels. You're in the mountains, and so you probably have a bunch of trees, because up there in the mountains you can get a lot of beautiful trees. I need to move some things around so I can get at these. Stay with me. Oh, half the battle is getting your materials. So lucky enough that these I got from Lowe's and they delivered them. I was a little concerned yesterday because the FedEx tracking number said that they were not coming until Wednesday, and I'm leaving Wednesday. So all these that I'm working on right now need to be out by, well, not all of them, but a good many of these need to be out by tomorrow. And luckily, FedEx was wrong. They actually came today. So very happy about that. But the pipe is, they don't want to ship pipe. So the pipe I had to order because none of the stores around here had enough. Apparently, this type of pipe it is not Schedule 40. Schedule 40 is a lot thicker, heavier duty, has a smaller interior, has a smaller interior dimension. And because of that, I don't think a standard quart jar would fit in it. But in any case, I mean, you're spending more money and having less functionality. This is drain pipe. The drain pipe, however, I've heard, somebody maybe knows better than I do, I've heard, though, that the reason why it's so hard to find here in California right now is because it is no longer to code for houses. It can still be used for irrigation, but it's not good for installation in houses, and that's why it's a lot harder to find. So thanks, California. So then they have a different type of stuff that isn't really as nice to look at. It's kind of corrugated, so it's black on the inside, white on the outside, and it's wavy. Or you have to go with Schedule 40. But anyhow, luckily I was able to get this. But I don't know how much longer it will be available. Let me see, anything else? Yeah, not in China. All right. Anybody else have any other questions? What type of lid goes on? So the lid, I have two different types of caps. I have a cap that I get from Lowe's that's flat, and you sit it down and it doesn't wiggle around. And then the other cap I get from a local store. And I haven't been able to find it anywhere else. And these are on order too. The rest of them are coming tomorrow. And these are all made in the USA too. But this lid fits on very snugly. And so then when I have the gasket material in there, it helps to have the handle to be able to pull that off. But if you have strong fingers, if you don't suffer from arthritis or if you've got strong hands, then you don't need the handle. The handle does cost more because it takes a lot of effort to put the handle on. And my husband's here. Hello, you want to say hi? This is my hubby. This is Kevin. Say hello. I've got 7 people watching right now.
Hello.
Put a comment on there so you can see how this works. Great video. Thank you, Jen. Congrats on all the orders. I make goat's milk. Oh, that is really cool, but you're not selling it. Well, if you do, let me know. Because as I said, I've been very happy that Alaska Prepper commented on my, did a review, and if anybody else is making stuff out there, I would love to pay that forward. And Don says, hi, Kevin. And,
I
Elishaba,
think you
hi
need to
from
open some more
California.
windows because it's really
I
reeks in
know,
here.
I know, I know. I gotta get that swamp cooler going. That's another window I can open up.
What about
Yeah,
the
open the
door?
door. Yeah, it's just that sometimes it slams shut with the wind. Oh, hello from New Hampshire. Hello. So all of the ones that I am putting caps on right now, my husband helped me cut. He cut all of these yesterday and the day before. So normally he has plenty of things to keep him busy on his own without having to worry about my my crafts. But thank you, hon. He left. Somebody said hi from Georgia. Okay, well, we've been going on for about 35 minutes. Huh?
What was that?
Oh, I just was saying somebody said hi from Georgia.
Oh,
They
okay.
said hi, Kevin.
Say hi back.
Kevin said hi. All right, well, I still have quite a few to do here, and I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I think I covered what I wanted to about the disinformations are and how important information is. What we are watching, the powers that be want to control what we are learning about and what we are able to hear, and by doing that, they're going to control, or at least they're attempting to control how we think. And some of these studies that I talked about earlier have shown that does happen, that does work. The Fox News versus CNN News, what you watch changes how you think about things. Those surveys about what you think the population consists of, that is all based on what they're seeing in the media. So what you see, you think that then it's a much higher percentage than it really is. So that's why it's important. I really appreciate so far YouTube allowing me to be on this platform. I am also on Odyssey. Yes, I am getting a little bit of a buzz. He did open the other door for me though, so you kind of get used to it. So I'm glad he came in, because when you get used to something, you don't know just how strong it is until you've stepped away from it for a while. So I appreciate having some more ventilation coming through here. When I bring these inside to get washed, I bring them into the house, and then they're drying on the countertop, and I got to take them back out. Otherwise, the whole house will reek of this, and it'll be really hard to go to sleep at night. But anyhow, I am on YouTube for as long as they'll have me, because this is, so far, it's the best developed tool in terms of like being able to interact with viewers. I just haven't seen that ability with Rumble and Locals and Odyssey. I am on all of those. So if you ever don't hear from me, and there's nothing in the community tab that kind of gives an explanation as to where I am, please make sure that you follow me on some of those alternative channels. Rumble, Locals, Odyssey. I'll be on all of those as well. But anyhow, God bless. I'm going to get my focus more on the task at hand, which will hopefully mean I will get finished that much sooner. And I will talk to you all next time. God bless. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all the thumbs up. Talk to you. Bye.